Let's do this. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I'm Caleb Lane. For those of you who don't know me, I am the founder of probably the biggest Land Before Time group ever. Definitely on Facebook. Which I'm sure most of you know that because I feel like most of you are, coming from that group, and so basically I am going to start doing YouTube exclusive content as a bonus from the podcast episodes. The podcast episodes will go up on both YouTube, Spotify, and in the Facebook group. But these videos will be exclusive to YouTube. Now, when I say YouTube exclusive, I don't mean like you gotta pay for them, because that's not happening. And because I have no way to do that, and even if I did, I've always wanted my content to be for everybody. So, and even if you don't have a YouTube account, I will share the you can just search up the channel name, and I'll share the channel name. And this channel, if you're in the Facebook group, this channel is linked into the description of the group, as well as the link to the Spotify for the regular podcast episodes. But anyways, like I said, in today's video, we are going to be talking about Cera, the three-horn, or Triceratops, which is their, and I feel like Cera has always been like this most hated character, and because of the way she acts, especially in the first movie. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to just shed some light on stuff and clear some things up about her, because like I said in the teaser post, she is definitely the most misunderstood character. And and we'll get into more of it in a few minutes, but if you really take a step back and actually see what she went through, or think about what she went through, you can I feel like if you understood what Cera went through, you could understand her character a lot more, and why she acted the way she did. And I think even growing up watching the movies as a kid, I don't think I've ever disliked Cera. I think I've always loved Cera, but I just don't think now I'm gonna be honest with you. When I was a child, I think Cera was more towards the bottom. I think she was in 4th place out of the main 5 Du- I mean, Ducky and Petrie have always been my favorite. Actually, I think when I first started watching the movies, I think Littlefoot was my favorite. And I feel like that's just because, you know, my mom would always like describe me as a, you know, Littlefoot. Like I was like she would like assign like the different characters to like each of us, like, and I think I mentioned that in like a live stream before on the Facebook group. But my mom would assign like different like characters out of the main one. Like obviously I was Littlefoot, my sister was Ducky, but we can all agree that she's Cera. um yeah. But like I said, I think, and then after a while, I started liking, I started like really falling in love with Ducky. And just because I feel like Ducky is like literally the absolute cutest. Right? But I'm getting sidetracked. Basically what I'm saying is that I've never hated Cera. Like I've always loved Cera, but just in the ranking, you know, but in all honesty, now I feel like I'd have no choice but to rank Cera higher, and maybe I'm biased because that I put Cera higher because part of me's taking into account, my my absolute, love for my best friend Candace. But, you know, but, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do, and you have to take all things into account. Whether it be, for example, for Ducky, whether it be my, absolute, and I mean absolute love for Judith. Literally, like, I don't think I've ever loved someone so much who, passed before I was born. To, you know, and especially like somebody who's not a direct family member, you know, well, not a family member at all, but but anyway, so I wanted to read something to you that was left on in a comment on the Facebook group that my friend Candace left. She played Cera, of course. But here's what I'm gonna read you what she wrote. She wrote, "This is in regards to what happened to Cera's mom, because as you can tell, Cera's mom wasn't at the end of the movie, and like she was never, like she was at the beginning of the movie, but she never made it to the Great Valley." And there's like theories about it, but this is what Candace had to say. She says, "It comes full circle. You can never understand loss until you lose your own. That's why she was so reluctant to show her vulnerability and temperamental. She knew in her heart her own mother was never coming back. Many mothers were lost. She tried the tough love approach with Littlefoot because she didn't know any other way. She only pretended to. In her heart, she knew how truly alone. Where was I? She actually was. It was never explained. They didn't feel children could handle two mothers' deaths and the sadness that comes along with that. The movie was so emotionally charged, we had enough concerns about how one death would affect a movie geared for children. A lot of Cera's antics were a sarcastic effort to distract the audience. And Littlefoot, that even through loss you have to keep going. It was explained to me that it would just be too much loss for children to process during that time. And when fans grew up and experienced their own sense of loss, that Cera's action would be better understood, and that all people, especially children, grieve in their own ways. The character was intended to show many ranges of emotions in an effort to show that in life circumstances there are vast ranges of emotions. They had to hype me up to be less sweet and far more feisty, and to show the range of emotions that come from nature versus nurture, and how different personality types can result in different psychological manifestations, and how as we grow we must often find our own individuality away from that of our parents. Hence the harshness and brute dominance of Cera's dad. Many of us had fathers like Cera's, many much worse. Many children lived in homes like my best friend Judith and I did. It was supposed to show the longing for a child Cera's to be loved in a certain way, but often the longing for a parent's love, right or wrong, is shown by mirroring the parent that the child is trying to get the most love and validation from. They did a lot of psychological and children's behavioral guidance when it came to the making of the first movie. It was an amazing movie to make. Hope that sheds more insight into my role. So that is what Candace had to say about basically, like, and that not only sums up like what it, to kind of explain like what happened to Cera's mom. And according to this, Cera's mom did die, and a lot of people think, and I'm not 100% sold on this myself, but a lot of people think that Cera's mom and her siblings all went with Toronto. And I know obviously there's some hints in the movie, especially in later movies, especially in Stone O Cold Fire. But honestly, I seems a little far-fetched to me, but not like entirely impossible. But anyways, basically, y'all, that is going to be close to the end of today's video. I just have a couple more points I want to, get by. Which is that Cera's awesome. And I'm totally not saying that because I have to. She really is. Like, probably I think Cera's like my third favorite character now, after Ducky and Petrie. Just because Ducky has been my favorite for like so long. But and like Petrie is like so funny, but yeah. hope you took something from today's video. And I will see you people next time. Bye.